JC, it's Jeff here. Thanks for joining me today. Appreciate everybody stopping by to check out the video, brand new video. Today we're talking Kiss, the first box set, the originals, and also the differences between my original pressing from 1976, the US pressing, and this one is a Canadian pressing from Captain Howdy. Sent me a couple of years ago. He was very kind and generous to upgrade mine to a Canadian pressing. You can see the difference on this one. But that's what we're going to do today, is just take a look at the two, besides, you know, the wear on mine compared to this one, but the differences on inside, how the packaging was from Canadian pressing to the US pressing. So stick around and we'll take a look at it.
Well guys, I guess the best place to start with this album is at the very beginning, even before it became a box set. With Wicked Lester behind Paul and Gene, Kiss is now trying to break into the music scene in the mid-1970s in hopes to find an audience that would really appreciate their music style. The music for this album actually had to come from somewhere to start with. The music came from their first 3 studio albums that did not do very well in sales at all. Their first 3 studio albums consisted of their self-titled debut album from 1974, Kiss. Also from 1974, their second studio album, Hotter Than Hell. And finally from 1975, their third studio album, Dressed to Kill. In 2014, they also reissued their first 3 albums again in 180-gram vinyl. Here's a look at my copies from my road case. But it was actually due to the tremendous sales and popularity of the studio album that helped create the Originals box set. Destroyer was Kiss's 4th studio album and their first studio album to reach gold status. Sales of this album were enough to come up with a repackaging idea for the first 3 studio albums and hopefully help stimulate the interest in sales for them once again. Thus, the original box set was born in July of 1976, and as they say, the rest is history.
Okay, now that we have a little bit of history in the background of this album here, time to get back to the video and start comparing them and see what the differences are between the two. I don't have the sticker to show what was inside it. That kind of went onto my notebook while I was still in school, since I bought my copy back in the day, and it looked kind of cool on my notebook, so I got to stare at it every day. But everything else I still have. Oh well, live and learn, right? So, young and stupid. Alright, let's get back to this video here and check out the differences in the pressings.
So both pressings are identical in the upper center. This is the copy of the US cover, and this is a copy of the Canadian album cover. As you can see, they are both identical with the print. The Canadian album cover also has more hype information printed on the upper left and the right hand corners of the album. Like the upper left hand corner here, you can see where it says limited edition, and in the upper right hand corner, everything that is coming in the Originals box set that you're going to get. As you can see, the US pressing doesn't include any of that hype information about what comes inside the album. The back of the album jacket is basically the same, except for the US and Canadian information at the very bottom of the album. This is the US version, and this is the Canadian version. The very thin and flimsy US gatefold was designed to show off the records, the sleeves, and the little extras you get in it, thus sacrificing the strength and the durability of the jacket, causing excessive ring wear to the cover, over time. And unfortunately, it happened to both the front and the back of the album cover. The extras that are included in both sets are the same, so I'll be showing the US pressing excluding the Army sticker that came with it that I already used when I was a kid. Here are the 6 trading cards that are included in both of the sets. They're a 6-inch wallet. The back of the cards actually have information about each of the band members printed on them. And this is actually what the missing Kiss Army sticker would look like. It's very much like this trading card. Now here's a look at the 16-page book that you get inside the box sets that are included. It talks about, the band's history up until this point. Some very interesting vintage photos and promotional photos. Now let's look at the record sleeves that came in the U.S. pressing. They are paper sleeves. They were basically just copies, of the album covers themselves. For the front and the back of the sleeves, they are the same, and the back of the sleeves just have the same information that the back of the albums would have, with the printed, the titles, the track. The labels on the records for the U.S. pressing are printed with the tan Casablanca labels, as these are considered, reissues. No studio album titles were used on the box set labels, only saying the originals. Replacing the Kiss album title along with side 1 and side 2 for Kiss. Side 3 and side 4 would be for the album Hotter Than Hell. And side 5 and 6 for Dress to Kill, again with the originals printed on the label. And again, this is a look at the U.S. pressing. Now a look at the Canadian pressing. Already you can see the difference in a better gatefold album cover design. It was a much sturdier construction than the thin, flimsy U.S. gatefold like mine was. It also had more information printed on that explains what each side of the gatefold contains, the extras, the sticker, and the albums. Just the plain white paper sleeves were used in replicating the original 3 studio albums that had plain white sleeves in theirs. The center label rings were used for the Canadian pressing are very different as well, using 3 different colors indicating the albums. It still said the originals on the center ring in place of the album, and record 1 happened to be the blue center label was for side 1 and 2's Kiss's debut album. Record 2 was the yellow center label, side 3 and 4, which was Hotter Than Hell. And record 3 had the orange center label for 5 and 6 for Dress to Kill. So once again, this is the Canadian version pressing. Now if CDs are more your things instead of vinyl, here is a look at 3 of the original studio albums in 3 separate discs. And if that's not enough for you, check out this 2005 CD version of the originals called Kiss Chronicles, 3 classic albums. It has their first 3 studio albums, just like the vinyl version did. Includes their first 3 studio albums in CD version, along with the paper sleeves replicating the album artwork and all the track listings that came with the album.
Okay, so I hope everybody enjoyed seeing those differences between the 2 pressings, the US versus Canadian pressing. Definitely a great album. Gave everybody the opportunity once again to get caught up to speed on their first 3 albums, and it definitely did that and then some. So everybody, John, thanks again for that upgrade. Everybody, thanks for joining me. I appreciate that very much. Take care, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, now that we're a little bit, take two.